1 through 4 to approach the chairs. Okay, and number 1, please come to the microphone. Mahalo.
Hello, my name is Lisa Galway, and I'm here to testify against the proposed telescopes on our sacred Mauna. Let me remind everyone that on June 5th, 2024, the Maui County Council unanimously voted 9-0 opposing the U.S. Space Force and the Air Force proposal to build new telescopes on the summit of Haleakalā. Concerns cited regarded the sacred nature of the site and its significance for Native Hawaiian traditional practices. So why are we here again? Is it because you have a new commander and he has to be told no in person? This has nothing to do with the science. It is about your continued desecration of our land. You are here on stolen land. Hawaii has been and continues to be illegally occupied by the United States of America, maintained by the strong arm of its military. You have no rightful authority or legal jurisdiction over any land in Hawaii, including Haleakalā. How can we allow you to continue to desecrate our mauna when you have not been good stewards of our aina? In the 1980s, there was a diesel spill in the area of the Butler building. Around 2010, there was a coolant spill from the chiller line of MSSS. Around 2015, there was a generator coolant spill that resulted in soil being removed. The spill that the public was made aware of happened in January 2023, when approximately 700 gallons of diesel fuel spilled, not because of a lightning strike as told to the public, but because preventative maintenance measures were not done properly. At that time, you did not have leak detection equipment installed on site that could have powered down the pump. A previous spill occurred due to the improper installation of fuel floats that tell the pump to shut off when the tank is full. At that time, the need for leak detection and containment was brought to the attention of local senior Air Force management, and funding was not given. Instead, the funding went to fund research projects. There was a mercury spill in the 16-meter telescope. Based on calculations, an assumption was made that there was no release. However, there was no definitive answer. You also had a sulfuric acid spill that was contained with no release. You do not have containment for large systems like chiller and diesel generators. You do not perform system integrity testing. You run it until it fails, and it has failed. Don't know if you still do the Adopt a Highway program in Kula. The reason why that stretch of road was selected was because your predecessors knew the residents took care of those roads. This is not Kuleana. In regard to your draft EIS, your assessment of adequate electrical power at the summit is misleading. Why is Hawaiian Electric Company in the process to install additional feeder lines to the summit running up the south face of Haleakalā through Hawaiian homeland?
Auntie, your 3 minutes have expired.
Okay, I will revisit.
Thank you.
Aloha, o wao mona kea. No makawa mai au, he kupa o maui o Haleakalā ku'u mauna. I don't understand why we're here again. You heard an overwhelming response of no, of this is non-negotiables. This is sacred space. Things that you have no jurisdiction to, things that you have abused and not cleaned up, not been accountable to the people, hurt so many families. And you have no answers other than, sorry, we're gonna do better. Nobody believes you at this point. So I don't understand why we're still here when there was such a clear, resounding no. We are at 50 years after Kaho'olawe. We're celebrating that now. You guys, as a military, had a purview to take care of the Hawaiian people. That was your responsibility to do so. You have not. Up to this point, there has been abuses over abuses over abuses with nothing but, I'm sorry, we're gonna do it anyway. That's what this feels like. This feels like we don't care, we're going to do it anyway. It makes us this thing against anything that you wanna do. The we're gonna do better, we're gonna look for cultural practices, doesn't mean anything to us anymore. We've had a history. If you look back at all the things that the military has done thus far, has consistently disappointed us, hurt us, and then left us with nothing, with not very much to say about what makes our lives better here, what takes care of our aina, what is in the future for our keiki. None of that is beneficial for us. So in whose defense are we caring for? Yours or ours? Because you make us a target where we were not before. I'm asking you to take into consideration the fact that you are not doing benefit for this community. That's why you got such a loud no from people who are here, people who are born here, raised here, and people who just moved here, all the same. Because everybody understands that you are not beneficial for this community. We are just a resource that you are abusing over and over again without fixes. And by the way, next time you need to have a meeting. Everybody said, meeting in Hana. Yeah, they have voices that are important. They have leo and olalo and things like that. Ike, that you don't understand, that they need to be able to say here without having to drive to the other side of the island. Mahalo.
Thank you.
How many words do we waste? For over 20 years, we've been protesting. Nobody listens. For crying out loud, what do we have to do? You guys tell me what we gotta do. Haleakalā, Mauna Kea, Pohakuloa, Kanaio, Pearl Harbor, Diamond Head, Punch Bowl, Mokuli'ia, Evo Beach, Barbers Point, Makua, Kaneohe, Waimanalo, Kauai, Barking Sands. We are one of the smallest states in the United States, and yet we have more land being used by our enemy. Who is our enemy? Who is our enemy? You said you're protecting us, but you're destroying all our land. I'm tired. Is anybody else in here tired? Tired. Enough.
Uncle, before you leave, can you share your name for the record?
O laka ko iwai, kanamu ko ino. E hoi ia mai ka aina, I ko ka kolima.
Mahalo. Number 4. Could we please have the next 4 numbers, 5 through 8, please come up to the chairs?
Aloha. My name is Wynette, and I am a Hawaiian woman from the island of Maui. Aloha to my brothers and sisters of Maui. My role is to protect Haleakalā, protect our aina, protect our water, protect our babies. I didn't go through the whole list that you guys posted because this is kind of impromptu, but I just have some just really core concerns. Okay, so you're gonna have seven satellites. Last time I was here, it was like 1 or 2. That is ridiculous. It is disturbing, and it's gonna desecrate our land. Last time you were here from now, there's been a big jump, and I'm just wondering, how does that happen? Is it because of our administration? Is it because of what the rules just passed last week? And to push this much pain and down our throats again is horrible. The housing situation, the amount of workers, because you're not gonna have any workers from here. The amount of workers, did you get the memo? We have a housing crisis. Did you get the memo? We have a water crisis. So that's concerning. As far as the water crisis, those satellites require an immense amount of water to cool down. Where do you put your waste? Where do you put that? As the teacher said earlier, there's just too much leakage. There's too much. You guys very old, outdated technology is just litter. Why don't you go build a spacecraft out in space if you're talking about space? I love my Starlink. My family has Starlink out in the country. I love it. I didn't have to put a satellite for my Starlink. Elon Musk has how much satellites up there? He didn't come desecrate. He's not my favorite person, but he didn't come desecrate Haleakalā. The radiation is out of 7 of those. I don't want my family to get sick. I speak for my family. I speak for all the people that comes behind me, thousands of my ancestors, thousands of my descendants. I don't want any of them to get sick. You guys are here. A couple of you stated you grew up here, you moved here. That's not going to be your truth. That's not going to be any of our truth when all of this happens. All of the desecration and pollution happens from these satellites. Another note I want to make too, you talked about cleaning up. You know what? You didn't clean up Kaho'olawe. So how dare you come here and put more trash on our land when Kaho'olawe hasn't even been cleaned up? So I don't know what this charade is, this clown show is, but nobody wants this. And I think, again, it's very outdated technology. And I think that you guys definitely should come with better answers and more transparency.
Thank you. Number 5.
Analysis of unaddressed issues in draft environmental impact statement, EIS, Air Force Maui Optical and Supercomputing Site, AMOS STAR Small Telescope Advanced Research Facility, Paul Garrett Hugel, ORCID ID 0000000180827208. Insufficient analysis of deep cultural and spiritual impacts, incomplete assessment of Wahi Pana and Waiakua significance. The draft EIS acknowledges Section 106 consultation requirements and defines historic properties, but it does not meaningfully assess the deep cultural, spiritual, and traditional significance of the Haleakalā Summit to Native Hawaiian communities. Implication: regulatory compliance language does not substitute for substantive evaluation of cultural impacts. 2, cumulative and legacy environmental impacts not fully evaluated. Legacy military environmental harm. The draft EIS's impact table categorizes effects as short and long-term non-significant, but it fails to integrate ongoing or legacy environmental issues into cumulative impact analysis. Specifically, 700-gallon diesel fuel spill occurred in January 2023 at an Air Force generator site at Haleakalā. Okay, cleanup's still underway. Draft EIS mentions future mitigation designs, but does not robustly assess cumulative risks or long-term soil water impacts from existing contamination. Cumulative telescope development. Haleakalā already hosts multiple military and civilian telescope installations. The draft EIS does not sufficiently analyze cumulative environmental effects of additional installations compared to existing infrastructure. Implications. Without cumulative analysis, the true ecosystem stress and risk profile remains unclear. Alternative locations and mitigation options underexplored. Limited alternatives considered. The draft EIS considers only alternative 1, preferred build out near MSSC, alternative 2, reduced build out, and no action. It claims that elevation and existing infrastructure make other locations unsuitable, but does not present independent, rigorous evaluation of alternative sites outside culturally sensitive areas. Implication: a true range of alternatives is required under NEPA to avoid significant impacts where feasible alternatives exist. Advanced technology as alternative. The draft EIS does not explore operational alternatives such as space-based sensors, satellites that could reduce or eliminate ground installations utilizing existing facilities with technological upgrades to avoid additional construction. Implications: a robust alternatives analysis could materially reduce cultural and ecological impacts.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Sir,
In conclusion,
and for the
Can-
other persons as well,
can I
I've
give a-
noticed some of you still have some things in your written comments or in writing that you would like. Those can be submitted in writing.
I'd be happy if any of you would like to discuss with me afterwards. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I do have a
Please
conclusion.
do submit them in writing so we can ensure we get your full comments. And I've noticed some others still had some paper left. To ensure we get your full comments, I highly encourage you to submit those in writing.
Thank you. Number 6.
O kumuli po ke kane o po ele ko ine o po ele ke kane o po ha ha ko ine o po luli ke kane o po vehi vehi ko ine o po pano pano ke kane po la luli ko ine ko po hiolo ke kane ko po hane ko ine ko po hane yaku ke kane ko po man hai mai ko ine ko po kini kini ke po manu manu ko ine hana la ila he wahini o keli I wahila ni kana kane hana mai kala o ti itamu hana mai o kane hana kana loka he hau na velu hana na pahu moana li halawa ko au mau keli hana ela ko la ko hope o ku polo li ilia li imolo I po he kana ko la lo hoka I lawa li o kana ola ana hana na po elu ka po ino ka po mai kai le na make kana ta mo te tua ke le make ku polo li ili no lila aloha wau ne o kale ko ka eo he keke papa no ke mo ko puni o maui no lila ke he mea e unuhi mai ka o le lo ano kai kai kanaka no he mea unuhi maka o le lo Hawaii ai ya so I'm forced to talk in English again. Same thing happened last time, so I'm just wondering why they cannot hear exactly what I need to say in Hawaiian. So let me. Okay. Well, last time we was here again, and again, and again, I asked particular questions that are not answered again in the draft EIS. Now, either you guys know the truth, or you don't know the truth. See, I'm kind of under suspicion that you actually know the truth, but you don't want to discuss the truth. So let me ask these questions again. I'm going to put it out again. Hanoho, as we say. Ekolo ninau mua. Search ownership. The issue of title and ownership. So I searched every word ownership. And again, failed to address the question that I asked. Where is the legal proof of ownership of that land? Where is the title report? I asked for a title report to prove chain of ownership. What serves as the final legal proof of ownership? Fee simple. From the Mahele of 1848 all the way to this year of 2026. Anybody knows if you purchase a home in Hawaii, you got to go through title, ownership, and guarantee. What about the U.S. military? What excuses you folks from performing the same act? Where is it? It is with 100% certainty that parcel is under Palapala Silanui, the Hawaiian Kingdom. Without a doubt. I can show you the evidence if you need to see it. The question is, of course, is therefore, we know the land belongs to Lahui Kanaka. So I want to know, in what year, give me the year, and by what legal instrument did the United States receive title to that land on Haleakalā? Second question in regards to...
Can you conclude? Your time is up.
I'll finish up tomorrow. Let me ask my second question.
Mahalo.
In regards to the illegal military occupation of these islands, as stated by Douglas Kamiak, you can go read it yourself, 1988, Office of Legal Counsel, Department of Justice, and he says here, quote, it is unclear which constitutional power Congress exercised when it acquired Hawaii by joint resolution. That's your own person telling us that. Where's the evidence? United Nations Special Rapporteur Alfred Desaias wrote, and this is 5 years ago, I have come to understand that the lawful political status of the Hawaiian Islands is that of a sovereign nation state in continuity, but a nation state is under a strange form of occupation by the United States resulting from an illegal military occupation and fraudulent annexation. So therefore, which constitutional power did Congress exercise when it claims to have acquired Hawaii by joint resolution? That should be answered in the EIS. Stop pretending, tell the truth. Mahalo.
Thank you. Number 7.
Aloha. My name is Kathleen Tatum, and I stand here as a citizen as well as someone who has worked as a contractor engineer at the AMOS, and I held the role of research and development systems engineer for Boeing. My background comes from Columbia University in physics and philosophy, and I worked in 10 different areas of experimental physics to become a generalist. I got this experience because I experienced multiple sexual assaults and physical assaults to my body while working in these hostile work environments of physics and engineering. While I worked at the AMOS, the way that this assault or conquest for more land happens, it played out again in another assault to my body, where a man who was an engineer preyed on my lack of safety glasses and their failure to undertrain me to hurt my eyes with a weapon class laser, and he did this knowingly. And this kept me out of the workplace conversations where I would be a female leader engineer to make a difference and talk about how we don't need these 7 telescopes from a technical vantage point. And while I worked there, the lunchtime conversations talked about these 7 telescopes. They talked about the workplace as the Death Star, and no one laughed. They talked about how they wanted to propose 7 so that they could negotiate with the people to get something. And they hurt me physically, so I knew that they represented themselves, though, because I'm very fortunate to have coworkers who are veterans and shared with me the values of the U.S. Air Force, which is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. I know that not building these telescopes is absolutely the integrity first, and that is part of the excellence in all we do. There's so much real work for the world that we need to do that comes to upgrading the safety at the AMOS so that we don't have hazards that could lead to injury and death everywhere. There was a safety audit that found this place to be very unsafe, and I had been hurt. And I also speak as someone who's an islander. My dad's from Bermuda, And in Bermuda, they invented the most sustainable water system where the rainwater is collected from the roof and filtered and stored under the house. And so my dad talked about how he had to keep the roof of the house clean. And when I'm in Hawaii, I know that these are islanders who know to keep the roof of the house clean. And this is really the genius of Hawaii. The Hawaiian people matter, and I speak as a Native American as well. And this is truly the genius of Hawaii that we have to protect and respect. And I want to thank you for your time. Aloha.
Thank you. Number 8, could we have the next 4 members, starting from number 9? You're number 8, yeah?
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Aloha. Aloha to the people. Not aloha to the military. Because aloha is a two-way street. And what you're showing us and what you have shown us since occupation is no aloha. You've desecrated our lands. You trample on our sacred sites. You don't listen to the people. I mean, I wasn't going to testify tonight because I just like swear, you know. But I said I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to yell and scream, and I'm not going to swear. But I'm going to tell you that, and you know this already. I mean, you're illegally occupying our country, you know, since the overthrow. And the Air Force has no jurisdiction on our sacred mountain. You don't care about the people. You know, American history in 2 words, you lied. And you continue to lie. And here's the colonizer playbook. You get people that look like us, they come from our aina, they come from our papa, and oppose us and support you. Because no more connection. I was born on the lo'i in a Quonset hut. My grandparents were terraformers. I know the importance of water. You know, you've already like spilled 700 gallons of something up there that you never clean up that's gonna trickle down into our water plate. We have one water source here. We don't have big rivers and lakes. And you dirty it all the time. Wherever the military comes in Hawaii, pollution comes. Look, Pearl Harbor. No more pearls anymore. It's all paru. The Nuclear Commission of Nuclear Rods in Pearl Harbor. You guys still doing that. Nobody knows. The fish glow at night because of all the nuclear waste that's around here. Makua, you guys dump nuclear waste 200 miles out there. Pretty soon it's gonna come up. Now you like do the same thing on Haleakalā, not taking into consideration that our gods are up there, our sacred places are up there, our people go up there. And you know what? I don't care you're born here or your kids born here, then teach them the way of the people here, yeah? Because I tell you something, karma has a long memory.
Auntie, can you say your name for the record, please?
Ovau Minoaka Kapua Hivalani hyphen Fitzsimmons. Colonization did that to me, Fitzsimmons.
Mahalo. Number 9.
Sorry, I don't know why the mic is facing that way. Aloha mai kako, my name is Kelsey Raposa. I am from the beautiful moku of Wailuku. My roots run deep on Maui, going generations back when our great queens and kings ruled over this islands. I stand in oppose of the AMOS STAR project, and I stand for alternative 3, which is no action, yeah? The no action alternative. So nothing, we don't want any of your telescopes on Haleakalā. So the last time that I was here in this exact room for this exact meeting, I was about 38 weeks pregnant. Yeah, you can see my son running around over there making noise. And I was actually having contractions during that meeting the whole time. And I was sitting down in the chair back there, and my friend goes, "You okay or what?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And after the meeting was pau, on the ride home, my water broke. And if that's not a huge ho'ailona, a huge sign from my kupuna as a hell no to what's happening. What is this meeting? You know? Your plans are not welcome. Your telescopes are not welcome. And if I have to strap my babies, because he's my number 3, on my back to block your guys' trucks, we'll be there. And once again, I stand in opposition of any telescope being built anywhere on indigenous land. And I stand for alternative 3, which is no action. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Go ahead, number 10.
My name is Stephanie Musbach, and I've been a resident on the island now for 15 years. I've been coming to Maui the first time I came to Maui was in 1971, and I spent a week at the Pioneer Inn in Lahaina. And I have loved this Aina ever since then. And since then, I've become immersed in the culture here and learned about what a special place all of the mountains are on all of the islands. And Haleakalā is the tallest island, so therefore it is a sacred place for the people of this Aina. And they already said, no, I don't understand why you are here. Why do you think that they're going to change their minds? Your record for things that you have promised the people since you overthrew their government 133 years ago has all been lies, and none of it have you kept your word. People cannot go to Kualavi, which was also a very sacred place for them, except on a very tiny space. But the government said, we'll clean it up when we give it back to you. No, you didn't. You still haven't cleaned up what mess you have made at Haleakalā. You haven't cleaned the mess you made up in Pearl Harbor. It took an act of Congress almost, except it was the act of the people here to get you to clean up the fuel spill that you had in Pearl Harbor. And you denied that there was a problem. The government does not, the military does not have a good record here. And as a citizen, I am embarrassed for you. I don't know how you can sit there and think that you can be proud of what you're representing, because you represent lives. And no more. It is theirs. This whole country is theirs. This Aina is theirs. Stop.
Thank you. Number 11.
Aloha. My name is Lucienne Dine, and I am representing Sierra Club Maui Group here tonight. Like some others in this room, we've been coming for over 20 years to try to say that this isn't a good plan to take what is a sacred place, cover it with buildings that don't have proper systems to actually contain harms, and then just pretend nothing is happening and let's build the next one. We will be submitting formal comments as we usually do. We just cannot support this. Like our county council, we're concerned about the oil spill that never seemed to get resolved. And it's one of many, it was just the latest one. We're concerned about the large energy demand that's just being kind of dismissed. We're concerned about the cultural impacts. Just avoiding putting things in trenches, even going back into your existing trenches, could cause cultural impacts. But it's beyond the trenches. There are cultural impacts. You're in a sacred place. How could there not be cultural impacts when you're ignoring the actual deeply held spiritual beliefs of the people who live in this place and have lived here for generations? We also are so aware of the promises broken. We have hiking programs on Haleakalā. We've seen all the trash. We've seen the promises to fix this and fix that just don't seem to materialize. The promises of funding for programs that go to a few special consultants. It's not helping the people. And the future militarization of Hawaii, who wants that? We don't need to be a target. There has to be alternatives. There really has to be alternatives, and this environmental document should really be talking about those alternatives and how there can be real follow-through to avoid doing any further harm from the structures that are already there. Mahalo.
Thank you. Number 12. Could we please have 13, 14, 15, and 16 also come up?
Aloha. My name is Nicole, and I am technically a visitor to the island of Maui, although I'm a resident of Kihei. I recognize that I was flown here, not grown here. And I'm also an Apache American. My father is retired military, and I constantly have to explain to him how these islands were taken under duress, the queen taken captive in her own palace by the US military and greedy businessmen. Same thing, what we're here today. So I am also a paralegal student at Kapiolani Community College, and I'm fully aware that you're in violation of the Constitution of Hawaii, Article 7 and Article 11, and I'm going to address your hiring practices. You are not hiring people from Hawaii. You are hiring mainlanders. Your company, Odyssey, is based in Massachusetts, and you're, what do you call them, analysts? They're here surfing, having a good time, going to work right here over off of Lapoa, and they have a direct line up to Haleakalā. That is not okay with me, and I have energy and I have time to go ahead and file under the judicial electronical system that you are in violation, along with BLNR, okay? So that is that. All right. So Odyssey Systems is a consulting group, and it's headquartered in Wakefield, Massachusetts. They are a private for nonprofit defense contractor. They consult to the US Air Force. Okay, so the win-win myth. You can argue that their local presence is merely a storefront to satisfy contract requirements, while the high-level analyst and engineering roles are imported from the mainland. The constitutional violations, Article 7, you are grounding your research in specific legal trust failures. The public trust doctrine, Article 11, the state has a fiduciary duty to protect the land of the people. You are researching how to private contract for war. Water resources. Okay, research, the January 2023 diesel spill, approximately 700 gallons. The Space Force admitted the cleanup is ongoing. This is your proof that Odyssey and BLNR cannot guarantee safety. And I want to remind you that I'm from the state of Colorado, and what is Rocky Flats, everybody? Rocky Flats and Lockheed Martin, they buried their plutonium in the ground. And it's still there to this day, affecting the water table of Colorado. All lies.
Thank you. Number 13.
Aloha mai a kākou. O wau kōrene me tūwaiti. O hana ia o Maui anō ho wau I kulakai I ka hupua o kia. Basically what I like to talk about is my point of view, my perspective. My whole life, I've been looking up at this mountain. I come from the Makai side, from over here, Kulakai, Kihei. I saw the last era of abundance when I was small. And I saw a lot of that disappear. The one thing that I was taught was nanai ke kumu, look to the source. Everybody talk about mauka to makai, but for us, it's makai to mauka. We are the reflection of everything that is happening up there. And it's so important because everybody trying to utilize the mauna, we have been learning about what we can gain from the Mauna that gives to us, and learning about all those things. Because the Mauna give us the groundwater. The Mauna give us the nutrients. Kula is the biggest moku on Maui. There's a long path from that mountain summit that comes down to us. And we acknowledge that. I'm the po of a hui called Aina Kukua, and we malamara wetlands down here. Yeah? And everything that we teach, everything that creates abundance comes from this mountain that we've been looking up to our whole lives. Now, what I don't like is that get people with no connection at all come in here into our backyard and gonna tell us how we gonna live, what we gonna have to be sustained to because of these things. But you guys no care about what we trying to do for sustain our community, create kuleana, understand this Makai connection, Hawaiian land management. And it begins with Nanai Kekumu, looking to the source. Now, a lot of the talks you're gonna get gonna talk about the summit. We talking about Makai, looking up to the mountain our entire lives. Don't take that away from us. The trenching. We already deal with mass flooding, sediment issues. The loss of all our limu. You talk about national security. I'm talking about food security. I talk about Aina security, the future of Hawaii. The infrastructure is based on this, what we have down here in Makai. So I'm glad you guys came to Kula, to Kihei, to Kulakai, because to be honest, we deal with all the impacts that is coming down from Haleakalā. And all it's going to do is just add more heaven to what we're already trying to the solutions we're already trying to create. You know, we're trying to create community. We're trying to create acknowledgement, education, teaching the kids. Because ultimately, we are a product of our environment. And like I said, we look up at that Mauna our whole lives. Can you say that? Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 14.
Aloha mai kākou. O wau o Lehua Jimenez, he pukana au mai ke kula o ke kaulike anoho ma ke ahupua o Waiahuli. Haleakalā is my Mauna. I'm here 2 years later after my first testimony on the first round of hearings that had an overwhelming number of no's to voice my leo of protest and opposition of AMOS STAR once again. It is baffling that the EIS report found a lack of cultural importance. It is not because of our lack of kuleana. It is because the lack of aloha that you guys possess and the ignorance that is in its place. So it's not surprising that we are here again. We have dealt with the constant disrespect and disregard of our leo and wahipana from the military for decades. It is clear to me that we will have to continue to fight for our lahui and to protect our Mauna. The connection that we have to Aina is none that you will ever understand as you guys are backing this project. But I hope tonight you will listen to the leo of everybody that is here and hear us. Hear our hurt. Hear our hearts. It is heva. To put it simply, our Mauna is a sacred place that we will never cease to protect. And the answer is no. No to any more desecration of our Mauna and our Aina. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Scopes on Haleakalā. In fact, there were many people in this very room that were at every single scoping meeting that week. And every single person came up and spoke to you. They shared words, shared personal mo'olelo, ancient stories about their connection to Haleakalā. And yet, we are here telling you again, absolutely no. Just like the FEIS hearings that were held last summer regarding the U.S. military lease renewals across the Pai'aina, this EIS is severely inadequate. You say that the development, that's supposed to take 2 years, and the presence of the telescopes will not impact local species. And yet community members, conservationists, and botanists have said otherwise. People who have been protecting species that are only found on Haleakalā. But the truth is that this haphazardly slapped together EIS statement comes at no surprise to any of us, which is depressing in and of itself because it really highlights the truth of all of this, which is that we do not trust you or entities like you. The US government and the military's presence has been nothing but destructive and harmful to Kanaka, to our Aina, and to your own people. Kapukaki, Pohakuloa, Makua Valley, Kaho'olawe, Kahuku. When this hearing notice was released 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine had sent this message to me saying, it's like we volley between corporations and the US military. And she was kind of joking, but obviously that is so true, right? To be an active member in community is an exhausting task because it means that we are going up against entities like you that are incessant. You push and push us to our limits, resulting in rooms like this being full of Kanaka and other community members telling you that this is heva, but you already knew that. You and people like you have proven that you are not good stewards of our Aina, so I'm for the no action alternative. Eola.
Thank you. Number 16, Councilwoman.
Aloha aina kako e kukulahui. Aloha. O wau o Kiani Rollins Fernandez, mai Molokai Nuia Hina. I am our Maui County Council member from Molokai. Author of the Council Resolution 24-103, opposing the construction of the telescopes in our Wauakua atop our Kuahu, Haleakalā. In 2004, when you folks conducted the scoping hearings for this, Resol 24-103 passed unanimously, saying, "A'ole." Subsequently, both our mayor and our Office of Hawaiian Affairs trustee Hulu Lindsay followed suit to support our people's safety and security by also opposing the continuation of this process moving forward. First, these telescopes are meant to monitor low Earth orbit. It is not necessary for telescopes to be built atop Haleakalā. They could operate at sea level and achieve the same purpose of monitoring these space objects. Therefore, this alternative is feasible. Second, you have not been good stewards of our Aina. You cannot 100% guarantee you will not continue to expose our sacred space to fuel spills and other contaminations. Third, to assume the telescopes should be allowed merely because it would be constructed on existing structures assumes those structures are supported by our people being there. They are not. Finally, your presence threatens our security. You make our islands a target, just as your presence at Pearl Harbor did in 1941. You say this project is justified for national security. You treat national security as your trump card. A threat to national security could mean anything. An invasion of our islands and occupation of our land, displacement of our people, destruction of our sacred spaces, poisoning our water resources. Yet, this is already happening by you. We need protection from you, the US military. Who protects us from you? As our council, our mayor, our trustee, we try to protect our people and our aina from you. You have our official position. We said ole. You don't protect us. We protect us. What does that mean to disregard the officials elected by the people of this place? Such disrespect to our people. We said ole in 2024, and we say ole now. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 17.
Aloha kako.
Aloha.
O mikahala hel ko o inoa. He Hawaii au, o ku au ku o ne hanau, o Haleakalā ku mauna. I am here because you are posing a serious threat to our majestic mountain. I want you to see the essence of what Haleakalā is to our people. Have you truly looked into the essence of this place and what it is to you and your children and your grandchildren and beyond? Do you want your descendants to always know their origins, their traditions? We have, and we do. Our beloved kupuna stood up to protect Haleakalā through all these years, all these hearings, all these meetings. Remembering tonight Uncle Charlie and Uncle Ed and Uncle Les and so many more. Uncle Les Kulaloyo shared something with me that just stays with me over and over. He said, if you go to the place of God, our kupuna say, stay away, because if you dirty the water, you pollute it down below. 20 years ago, we testified against building the ATST, which was now named for Daniel K. Inouye, on Haleakalā, because of the toxic materials used and the threat of polluting our aina, our water. Years later, as was so well described by number one, Kalamai, I don't know your inoa. But years later, this actualized by the spilling of fuel at the summit. To date, this has not been resolved. How could we stand by while you advocate for the building of up to 7 new telescopes? The Air Force's proposal is the desecration of a traditional cultural place. Wauakua, the Pico of Maui. Building the AMOS STAR telescopes will cause irreparable harm. There is no mitigation for spirituality with the sacredness of Haleakalā. No action, no more telescopes.
Mahalo. Number 18.
Oh, thank you.
Could we have 19, 20, 21 please come to the chairs?
Dalina nui a kakoa pau o wau kia o Kahele Duklo, hanau ia hana ia no, kula ia no ma keia mo kupunine o Maui nui a kama, aloha kako. First off, what Auntie Mickey said about this being a generational struggle,
I think that's a really important point. And it's a generational struggle because you guys are still here. For me, I refuse to place any kind of trust in this process. Time and time again, processes like these have just proven to marginalize, override, or ignore Hawaiians altogether, sometimes even villainize us. The way you guys characterize what we say in your EIS is bullshit, right? The way you interpret our aloha for this land and twist it into, ooh, we're an aggressive mob, is unreal. Well, actually, it's totally real. I totally get that you can do that. Consultation has too often just meant notification. It's not really about listening to us or caring about what we say or think or feel. It's just notifying, it's your process, you get through it, and then you do whatever the hell you like build a DKIST. This project just represents more military expansion, facilitated by institutions that have repeatedly enabled desecration. The military operating what is now openly called the Department of War. And that's how we view it. That's how we've always viewed it. So as twisted as that is, that's the truth for us. The military has, all across Hawaii documented legacy of environmental destruction, contamination, restricted access, disregard for Hawaiians, and of course, the continued occupation of our land since the overthrow of our lawful and recognized government. Even if the military executed this process perfectly by its own standards, even if every permit was secured, every mitigation plan, every procedural requirement was met, this would still be wrong. This would still be hava. The fundamental issue is not paperwork. It is the continued militarization of our land. Am I done? Oh, I was like, yeah, okay. The AMOS telescope expansion is framed as modernization and research, and in reality, we know what it is. It deepens the military-industrial footprint on our AINA, and it normalizes more permanent military infrastructure. We stand here because we believe that those in power, because we believe that you will choose Pono, because I don't think you are capable of Pono, but it's because history must record that we were here to object and resist and bear witness to this continued desecration and to the continued occupation of our AINA. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 19.
Aloha mai kākou o kuipo ko'unoa. I am a daughter, a granddaughter, a wife, a descendant of Kalaniupu'u, and the most special title, a mom of 2 boys. Earlier today, I kept fighting internally, telling myself, okay, pauhana ya, work full time. Because a lot of us here gotta work plenty jobs just to make ends meet. My boys get baseball, figure, you know what, I don't know if I should go tonight. Something in my pu'awai, my na'au, told me, gotta go. I am here for my ohana. I speak on behalf of them, I speak for them. Were we not here 1 year ago, 2 years ago, telling you guys the same exact answer? Ole. Right? Don't get tired for you guys to hear that. Pouring our hearts out, our beliefs, facts, reasons why we as Makainana, a Mekanaka Oiwi, oppose the AMOS STAR Telescope and Research Facility. But you guys don't listen. You don't hear our cries. The first Auntie Kalamaya, I don't know your name, but you had the facts tonight. 700 gallons of diesel already spilled up there 3 years ago. Wakapu, thousands of iwi kupuna dug up, thrown in boxes for convenience of continued development. They don't care, still inside boxes, right? Kapukaki, Red Hill, with over 19,000 gallons of jet fuel leak into the water system. Kaho'olawe, used for target practice. So many different instances, broken trusts, promises. These are all prime examples of destructive impacts on our wahipana and wa'okua. How many more incidents do our people and Aina gotta suffer through? Ole, no more. When we open doors, we justify greed, desecration, ruining what our kupuna saved for us, for our keiki. We become lost, not only for ourselves, we lose our culture for the future generations. I'll end with this olelo no eo that has stuck with me. He ali'i ka aina he kawa ke kanaka. The land is a chief and the man is its servants. It's a humbling reminder that we have a privilege, but also a kuleana, to live here, to take care, and to stand up for our aina when it's being mistreated. Ole to the AMOS telescope, not now, not ever. Listen to our voices. Mahalo piha.
Mahalo. Number 20.
Aloha. Kohani Lu'uwai from Makena Landing, my ohana. I'm just kind of ashamed of these gentlemen being the peons for our government. You know, how can they look at themselves in the mirror, but I guess they look every day and they don't really care. It's just sickening that year after year, decade after decade, we come up here and fight these people for what is our own rights. Who here supports these people? Everybody, stand up right now if you don't support these people. Ku'iluna if you can. I mean, how can you look at yourselves in the mirror? You guys are just peons for your upper heads above you. Mahalo, everyone. Mahalo for coming tonight. I came from the other side of the island. We can't even afford to live in our own home. You have a bad track record in Hawaii. You should know that. Do your own research. You have screwed up over and over here in Hawaii. And people mention Kaho'olawe. Man, that island would never be the same. And the cultural significance of that one island is enormous. Kohe malamalama o Kanaloa. No other island in all the archipelago is named after a god, our ocean god. But yet you bombed it for 40 years. And we got to fight you. We fought the fight. And since 1990, we stopped you guys. No one has ever defeated the US military. No other country, no other war, they're undefeated in all the wars. But Kaho'olawe, we defeated them there. So thank you. Thank you for coming tonight, for caring. Because we're not doing this for us. We do this for our kids and our grandchildren. And for the kupuna who came before us. Shame on you guys.
Mahalo. Number 21.
Aloha mai kākou, e kuana mākou ma ke ano he ohana satita. We're going to do 21, 22, and 23 right now together, okay? Because we know what we got to do.
3 for 1 special. Aloha everybody. So we get 30 seconds added to our time. Mahalo. Anyway, my name is Kihei Collier. Most of my work is done through restoration. And the fact that how many times do our people in our lahui have to say no for you guys to know, KNOW, the significance of Haleakalā and the things that you guys are proposing. Just so you guys know, I'm against it, don't want it. 133 years John Ka'aimoku was my great-great-great-grandfather. He signed the Ku'e petition for the annexation of our Lahui. For 5 generations, our family has been saying no, and everybody else's family who was on that petition has been saying no. I gotta speak a different language. We gotta speak a different language, because you guys obviously do not understand no. Instead of trying to continue your desecration, maybe you should try and help a lot of our other organizations that are promoting our Lahui and trying to restore our communities. Currently, I'm in the process of doing a restoration for a fish pond, and it's very difficult to get by your guys' standards and bylaws so that we can provide food and do our practices as Kanaka for our Lahui. Yet, when we say no to things like this, you guys say, cool, right on, negative. No matter what we say, for some reason, it doesn't really get to you guys. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna say no right now in 2026, as my kupuna did in 1892, 1891, before the annexation of our Lahui. And my kids will continue to say no until it's done right, and we have finally done something to help promote our Lahui and our people. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Lihau Collier, and I stand here as a Kanaka Maoli, as a daughter of this Aina, and as someone who carries kuleana to protect what our kupuna entrusted to us. I offer this testimony in the spirit of Aloha Akua, Aloha Aina, and Aloha Kanaka. 3 pillars that guide how we relate to each other, to our land, and to the divine forces woven through our islands. I am here to oppose the AMOS STAR project and to urge the Department of Air Force to adopt the no-action alternative. In the field of Aloha Akua, recognizing Haleakalā as Wauakua, Haleakalā is not simply a mountain. It is Wauakua, the realm of the gods, a place of highest spiritual significance and ceremony. Even the DEIS acknowledges that Haleakalā is a traditional cultural place and a sacred site according to Native Hawaiian knowledge systems. It explicitly states that the project would cause short and long-term significant and adverse effects to this cultural place during both construction and operation. When you expand development in Wauakua, you are not altering a landscape, you are violating a relationship. You are diminishing a sacred space that generations have honored through prayer, chant, ceremony, and silence. Aloha Akua requires humility. It requires restraint. Building more military infrastructure on top of a sacred summit is not restraint. It is not humility. And it is not pono. In the field of Aloha Aina, protecting the Aina and its living beings, the DEIS identifies Ua'u burrows close to the proposed domes, noting that vibration and stormwater runoff could collapse burrows and that lighting and traffic increases risk to this endangered species. The DEIS also acknowledges that the Haleakalā silver sword Ahinahina exists adjacent to the site and that critical habitats lie nearby and along the access road. These beings, these kinolau embodiments of Akua, are not obstacles. They are relatives. They deserve protection that is proactive, not reactionary. Aloha Aina means protecting the Aina before it is harmed, not after bulldozers arrive and mitigation measures are activated. The DEIS frames impacts to those species as non-significant, but when an Ua'u burrow collapses, when an Ahinahina silver sword is damaged, when a single life form is lost, that is significant to us. In the field of Aloha Kanaka, upholding the rights and well-being of Native Hawaiians, the DEIS states the traffic, noise, and air impacts are non-significant. But our people, our cultural practitioners, our keiki who travel the summit road, our ohana who pray at the crater rim are not numbers in a model. Our experiences are not insignificant. The DEIS also acknowledges a January 2023 diesel spill at the existing MSSC facility and states that cleanup is still ongoing. Yet the Air Force proposes to expand operation before resolving the environmental harm already caused. This raises serious concerns about accountability and long-term stewardship. Legal and ethical failures. Your own DEIS admits Haleakalā is a traditional cultural place eligible for a national register. The AMOS STAR project will have significant and adverse effects on that DCP. No mitigation offered can fully remove those harms. This triggers federal responsibilities under NEPA, failure to avoid or minimize known significant impacts, NHPA 106, duty to protect historical properties, and including TCPs, and AIRFA and EO 13007, protection of indigenous sacred sites. Proceeding with the preferred alternative despite acknowledging significant cultural harm threatens the legal integrity of the final EIS and record of decision. In plain language, it is illegal to knowingly inflict significant harm on a protected cultural and sacred site when avoidance is a feasible alternative. And the DEIS itself says the no action alternative is the environmentally preferable option. To conclude, my testimony is guided by aloha, but let me be clear, aloha is not passive. Aloha is courage, responsibility, and protection. When you stand at the summit, when the wind across the crater and the sun rises over the horizon, you can feel the presence of Akua. You can feel our kupuna. You can feel the truth that this place is not meant for more concrete, more domes, more extraction of the night sky for military gain. As a Kanaka Maoli, as someone grounded in Aloha Akua, Aloha Aina, and Aloha Kanaka, I urge you to select the no action alternative and honor your legal, ethical, and spiritual obligation to this sacred mountain. Mahalo for hearing my voice. May you choose the pono path. Meka ha'aha'a.
In 1993, aloha mai, my name is Pulama Collier. I'm the mother of three, two of which you have just heard voices from. In 1993, my son Kiai right there was born. That was 100 years after 1893, the overthrow of the government, our legal government, our kingdom. 100 years, my son was born. At that time, there was a bumper sticker, and it said, "No aloha, N-O, no N-O, Hawaiians. No aloha, no Hawaiians." It was a black and white sticker. Also followed that was practice aloha. Since that time, 33 years ago, my son is now 33 years old. We have evolved as Hawaiians to know aloha, K-N-O-W, deeper. We have done our work. We continue to discover, recover all that we know who we are, even now. So, we leave tonight not to call you out, but to call you in to know aloha, K-N-O-W, to know Hawaii and everything Hawaiian, and know more. No more. Aloha.
Mahalo.
Number 24, 25, 26, please come up.
Aloha mai kako, wau ohana lei kole aro. I'm not here to slam nothing, nobody, but I'd like to let you guys know, give you one glimmer of hope. First off, hats off to Mr. Trump, your guys' president, not mine, but your guys' president, because he at least taking back the country according, whatever that means. And really, he's talking about the 1776 Constitution under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all, that God usurped by the Organic Act of 1871, which made America a corporation. That corporation, which is satanically driven, is what's coming down. So I'm here to address the crimes against humanity, because many have died, many are being controlled even right now because of what they're doing with our food. And by the way, I'm mahi'ai. I'm a farmer. I aloha aina. I know what it's like. And every time I see that freaking plane flying in the air, spraying all that crap in the air, that making us guys ingest all kind of heavy metals so they can use their 5G BS transmitters and stuff, or make us all, these guys are so smart. They control Hollywood. CIA control that, so that they put that kind of stuff in the movies for brainwash people and get them busy with stuff. But I want to let you know something, that this goes back time to biblical times, where Akua when come and when tell the wahine after she went go eat the mountain apple or whatever she went eat, when tell her, hui tita, and when talk to the man too, he says, you know, I'm going to prophesy your release. Right now, I just want to take away all of your jurisdiction, because before, when things was porno, you command the universe, but because you went screw up, not good, that in your fallen state, that you still control the universe. So he even prophesied, he says, wahine, you're going to get baby. And he told the serpent, you're going to get baby. Now we're talking about seed, the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman, that there would be hostility. There has been hostility forever. I always wondered what the huli would look like, and I never thought it was going to be. And I like on Polaroid, as long as you keep walking, the bugger keep developing. Yeah. So it's like you cannot put your finger on to know exactly what's happening, but you know it's happening. So I want to encourage every one of you that we're not going to put up with this bullshit already. We're tired of this stuff. I'm tired of meeting. You're not tired of meeting. I got to stop work. And I work nighttime too, so not only daytime, so, convenient for you guys who work in the daytime. But I like to let you know that we're tired of playing games, and this whole thing is going to be arrested. There's a reset that's happening right now, and I'm excited for it. Because we're not going to be slaves no more. We've been slaves forever. This system has screwed us, had bred us through the school system, make us plantation mindset and everything. We got to do that 9 to 5. Well, I don't do 9 to 5. My time starts at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I work until whenever power. Start again. But you got to enjoy life. They have made it so that we don't enjoy nothing. We just so damn busy. We can't even enjoy nothing. And then we get retirement at the end, right? We get a nice watch, party, everything like that, and then you get nice paychecks. I want to encourage you guys that serpent is coming down, and there is a true reptilian race that is occupying in plain sight, that is governing this universe. That serpent seed is coming down through the sons of God. Under our heel, because that's what Akua said, under our heel, we're going to bruise the head of the serpent. We're going to crush the head of the serpent. And the serpent only going to bruise our heel. So, atay get bruised, atay have to go put ice and go sokom in a and bakay hot water like that, yeah? It's time for a victorious time to happen in our time, and the true huli to happen, and our people go free. This is the time. So I encourage you folks. Ibo.
Mahalo. Number 25, could we have 26 to 30? Please also approach the chairs.
Aloha, my name is Leo Ryder. And for 20 plus years, we've been standing for Kila Kilo Haleakalā to avoid the monstrosities upon our holy mountain. This evening, I stand with the ku'e, all our I think they deliberately did it to bless the aina. I just wanted to remind you that our kupuna are here with all of us this evening. We acknowledge our mo'oku of ho from the piko of the universe that sustains us in the spiritual nectar of these sacred islands. I affirmatively feel that this telescope that you wish to bring upon our sacred islands is a no, is a a'ole. Not in hatred, but in aloha. In the mountain and the fields of aloha and the breath of spirit bound in this pu'olo of prayer that we did this evening, to restore the breath of spirit that honors the dignity of all life. War is never anybody's nectar. We have witnessed that within our own DNA. And so these telescopes are another reminder that there are other ways to contemplate, not simply to bypass our voices that affirm no, but to invite you to the pillar and the ahu of that mountain in the restoration of truth and collaboration with integrity with pononess. Perhaps I may not witness it in my lifetime, but through my fervent prayer in the mo'oku auhau in which we all stand on, and the breath of the spirit of our prayers, we pray that the bones of our ancestors and the righteous integrity of all the seers of the stars from which we all come can offer you the tangible experience of what we feel for our land. These are sacred things that our ancestors knew. They were in community and communion with the DNA of the stars. If you only took the time to sit with us and explore peaceful aloha ways in that breath of knowing, then you would really understand what aloha is. I pray that your children will remember our voices as well. I pray that all our children of the future will remember the collective voices here that stood for our sacred mountain. And I invite the preciousness of the future generations when they look into the stars, that is not the stars of fear, but the stars of hope for all. Aloha aina, aloha akua, aloha ohana. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 26. No, was that? She was the last one? Oh, 27.
Sorry, 5'2". Aloha, my name is Tiare Lawrence, and I obviously stand in strong opposition today against the proposed 7 telescopes on our mauna. Let me be clear, Haleakalā is not a vacant parcel of land waiting to be developed. It is a sacred mountain, a wāwakua, a place of deep spiritual and ecological significance that has already endured decades of development and intrusion. And yet, once again, we are being asked to sacrifice more. We are told the impacts will be minimal. We are told the footprint is small. We are told mitigation will protect the environment. But history tells us a different story. The history of military presence across Hawaii is a history of contamination, environmental harm, restricted access, and broken promises. Communities have been told to trust the process before, and time again, that trust has been violated. The recent fuel spill at the summit is proof that risk is not theoretical, it is real. And it is unacceptable in one of the most fragile ecosystems in the world. Haleakalā is a conservation district. That designation should mean something. It should mean protection, not incremental industrialization disguised as progress. Because that is exactly what this is, death by 1,000 cuts. One project at a time, one facility at a time, one more expansion until the sacred becomes normalized infrastructure. The environmental impact statement talks about mitigation, but you cannot mitigate cultural harm. You cannot mitigate the loss of sacredness. You cannot mitigate the slow erosion of trust. And you cannot replace ecosystems that exist nowhere else on Earth. Native plants, endangered species, and fragile alpine habitats are not collateral damage. They are public trust resources that you are legally and morally obligated to protect. I'm here today to speak for the species that cannot testify, for the cultural practitioners whose voices have too often been minimized, and for future generations who deserve to inherit a Haleakalā that is still whole. We must ask ourselves, when does enough become enough? How many facilities must be built before we admit that this mountain has already given more than it should have had to? Because once we cross this line, we are sending a message that no place is truly protected, that even our most sacred conservation lands are negotiable. And that is a dangerous precedent. This is not just about telescope, this is about whether we honor our kuleana to protect what is sacred, fragile, and irreplaceable, or whether we continue down a path of normalization where conservation districts become zones of convenience. Future generations will not remember the justification documents, they will remember whether we had the courage to say no. So I urge you to uphold your responsibility to protect the public trust resources, respect the cultural and ecological significance of Haleakalā, and deny this proposal. I'm also going to be submitting a very lengthy legal analysis argument to add to this, but mahalo.
Mahalo. Number 28.
My name is Devali Naiole. Let me begin by saying that this is exhausting. But do you care? Do you care that our concerns from 2024 are unchanged? That we have already said no. No to the Air Force being on our mauna at any time, and no to any more telescopes, be it 7, 5, 3. No means 0. I think I'm not the only tired one. I think many of us are tired. I think many of us feel a little bit discouraged. Year after year, I was just saying to myself, seriously? Already? Again? But we continue to show up, and tonight I stand against you and I testify. Not because I believe my single comment will stop this project, but because I know that if I don't, you will interpret my silence as acceptance. I testify because the record matters. I testify because Haleakalā matters. And I testify because in the future, when history looks back at this record and asks whether the community stopped speaking, I want it to be very clear that we have not. We told you go home in 2024. Looks like they said those guys might have gone home because you all look new. The message is the same. We'd really appreciate if you pack up and go home. Haleakalā is not an empty summit. It is not simply a location for your infrastructure. It's a sacred ancestor and a place of deep cultural and spiritual significance for Native Hawaiians. Not that you haven't heard that 1,000 times, but maybe on the 1,001st time, I don't know, maybe you will get it. I don't know. For decades already, Haleakalā has experienced development and desecration. You folks come with your project, framing it as small, necessary, justified even, but the cumulative negative impact is undeniable. I'm not going to name them all here because it's in your EIS. You already know this. You know this because our communities have repeatedly raised concerns about development on Haleakalā. Oh, was that me? Is that 3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I almost called. Again and again, people have shown up, submitted testimony, and asked for restraint. But your projects continue to move forward, despite consistent and sustained community voices saying, ah, ole. So the choice is clear, and the correct answer to your proposal is no action, no telescopes. So please note that in your official record. Ensure that it reflects that the desecration of Aina and dismissal of Native voices is ongoing, persistent, and has not been remedied. So just to be clear, I promise 30 seconds. My remedy that I am calling for as a Native Hawaiian is no more telescopes, no more expansion of telescopes, facilities on Haleakalā, no additional instrumentation, no encroachment under any name, reconfiguration, or justification. Haleakalā has suffered through enough. The people have spoken. Like, just go home and tell your bosses we said enough already.
Mahalo. Number 29.
I know, I was thinking the same thing. We're coming right back to say the same things again, and after how long testifying about no more construction on the top of these mountains, I don't think I've done the same testimony twice. There is so much to say. So definitely I am for action 3, no action. Protection for the Mauna, these summits, is not some disconnected or woo-woo cultural understanding. This is science, spirituality, and so much more that is happening here. Piko, do you know Piko? This word refers to the summit, to your belly button, and many other things, I'm sure. If you were sensitive to the intimate understanding of feeding the body through your belly button, you would surely stop suggesting these polluting telescopes be placed on these summits. These picos, such as Haleakalā. Maybe if you all weren't so abhorrent in your pollution and years and most toxic of, but often how many years of this, I don't know what I wrote. Anyway, the toxic fuel that you still haven't cleaned up is, the level that we're beginning to actually expect from the military, that it is impossible to be cleaning up these things that you keep saying that you'll be responsible for, that you'll be responsible for the cleanup for. It's not even possible. You don't know the proper protocols. The way that Auntie was describing what happened on top of the mountain with that oil spill was really horrible. Like, it was basically like kind of kicking dirt on top of it and being like, yeah, we're done. Like, it was really, really bad. So I just want to end by playing a little bit of something that was reminded to me yesterday of one of the nights that we spent up on Haleakalā, looking to stop this desecration at the top of the water source. Like, this is where the pristine water needs to be. If we're looking at these creatures, they are so small and fragile. Like, their divinity is in their complication at such stress and such perfection in their detail. It is incredible what we're looking at. These are, basically like taking a hammer to a microscope's job. Like, it's not gonna work, right? And so this is after we said no how many times, after there was the force. Did you have a question?
No, I hold my hand up when you have only 30 seconds left.
That's tiring for you. Jeez. Okay. And so, taking it to the streets, it's like the U.S. government is trying to talk about safety in our communities, about how they're going to provide these things for us, when that is not the case. And as someone who is a settler and is not a Hawaiian, I vehemently object and know exactly how important this is to the entire of humanity, that you understand these concepts. And
thank you.
This is like they're squishing Kai's head in the middle of the street because he is running out of car. With his little body, no military, he didn't have any weapons. He had what they declared to be permanent brain damage afterwards.
Thank you. I'm sorry, your time is up.
And still struggled with the recovery of this. So it's not bringing any kind of peace.
Number 30, Auntie Claire.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Aloha. I can't remember how many years I've been doing this. Oh my God. For the sake of humanity, I speak to you as another human being because I know you're hearing us and you have your rules and regulations which puts us as having no rights, although you're pretending to listen here. I'm not sure how you could do that and live in our land. But I'm here tonight representing Malama Kakanilua, and the Kihei petition continues. It is in this month, in 1898, that the Kihei petition was on the floor of the Senate, the United States Senate. And the 4 men who brought the petition to Washington finally could go home. They said, "We won. There is no annexation." To remind you, the Kihei petition really served as the vote of the people for annexation. I ask you this question and expect that you will answer me as mandated by the laws that govern the EIS and my comments and questions to you. I would like you to show us all a real treaty of annexation executed and from your records in the United States, because we've asked for it and there is none in all of your many records in Washington, D.C. I again say, please produce your annexation record so that we could know that you even have any right to be here. And very simply, as human beings, why would you continue this pattern that the United States started to come into a country, pretend to support the businessmen, and take people's countries? That is the worst kind of invasion of a country and people ever, and you're still here. So please, answer my question, and I expect to see a written response. Thank you very much.
Auntie Claire, can you put your name in the microphone for the record, please?
My name is Claire Apan.
Mahalo. Number 31.
Aloha, my name is Autumn Ness. I'm an American-born citizen and a settler to Hawaii. I hesitated to speak today because I don't honestly know what more there is to say, but like it's been said before, I want this to go on the record. As a U.S. citizen living in the Kingdom of Hawaii, I am ashamed of how this government has treated and continues to treat this place, its water, and its people. I am embarrassed that in the name of the U.S. government, you will stand here and ask people to spend their time giving you opinions, and you'll write them down, and then you will likely do whatever you want in the name of national security against all these people's wishes. I'm not even going to justify this process by commenting on the EIS because it's irrelevant. You cannot EIS your way into consent. The lack of consent in the American government and its power structure seems to be a pattern, though, so I'm not surprised. The only action I support on the record is removal and retreat. Justify all of this however you want, but if you ask me what scares me the most, option A, a life without enhanced communications and satellite tracking and defense capabilities and the geopolitical nature of our planet, or option B, a future in which people have lost all connection to land, water, and the sacred, have lost reverence for and connection to the elements around us, including each other. I would say I'm way more scared of option B. I am more scared of growing up in a community, in a society where reverence, connection, love, and respect do not exist, and I'll tell you why. It's because those things are the things that will move us into a future where I don't have to worry about space weapons and geopolitical violence anymore. And you know what? You guys had your chance. Weapons, defense systems, satellites, war games, you guys tried all that. And if any of those things actually worked to keep us safe, we would be safe by now. So it's time to put all that down. No means no. The wisdom is in this room if you just listen. Please just listen.
Mahalo. 32? Oh, are you 31? 33. Oh, 32.
Aloha kako, Obao, Brigitte Leilani Axelrod. My friends and family call me Gigi. No Maui ko'o ohana. I'm here in opposition to the proposed AMOS STAR facility on Haleakalā. I reject alternatives 1 and 2 to expand development. I oppose this development along with so many people that are here. I think because there's a fundamental difference in our understanding of what Aina is and what it does. As Kanaka, as indigenous people everywhere, we understand that our Aina, our land, is alive in its own right. Therefore, we love our Aina as it is alive, because we know that it has its own spirit. And not only do we love our Aina, we know that our Aina loves us. And that's why we're here, to protect what we love. Little as the cultural impact, but also the environmental impact. There are endemic species on top of Haleakalā. Endemic meaning found nowhere else in the world. Hawaii is also already the extinction capital of the world. So we've lost so much of our biodiversity already with our plants, with our birds, and we continue to see this even happening now in our kai as well. So there's already 700 gallons of fuel that have leaked on top of Haleakalā. They found contamination 20 feet below. There are already 6 academic and 4 space surveillance telescopes that are already on top of Haleakalā. Not really sure why we would need 7 more. You've already heard no so much. You hear it tonight, you've heard it years before. And it feels like as if we weren't here to fight against all of this proposed development on our beaches, on our maunas, and all of our wahipana. There would be nothing left. You would take everything. So I support alternative 3, the no action alternative. And I also wanted to mention that not only do we not want these telescopes here in Hawaii, we don't want it in Guam, we don't want it in Okinawa, we don't want it in American Samoa, we don't want it anywhere in the Pacific. Mahalo.
Thank you. Number 33.
Aloha. My name is Jake Carton. I speak on behalf of Maui Indivisible, a local chapter of Indivisible Hawaii Statewide Network and National Indivisible. We regularly mobilize thousands of Maui residents on the streets of Maui against Trump's swiftly moving fascism. Trump's Air Force pretends this project is only to spy on space. Let's stop calling this a telescope project. The facts are, this is a military project to support satellites and to increase national security, spying. Soon, Trump's oligarchs, like Bezos and Musk, will launch thousands more satellites to enhance this project. How does this project help this satellite project? This project uses lasers to detect satellites, help satellites' orbital mechanics, and identify space junk to prevent satellite collisions. Who owns these satellites? This project supports a satellite barrage planned by Trump oligarchs Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, for the purpose of spying on us, hunting human beings, especially dissenters, and making obscene profits with military contracts. Bezos' project is called TerraWave and plans to launch 5,408 satellites starting next year. Another regular Maui visitor and fascist, Trump oligarch Peter Thiel, is making the software that uses these satellites to do this very spying and hunting of human beings, immigrants in the United States, Palestinians in Gaza, and civilians in the Ukraine and other war-torn regions, some experiencing genocide. This project, a military one, does this as a communication bridge between satellites and the drones that assassinate human targets. Basically, this project is corporate welfare to these masters of war, tax scofflaws, and mercenary fascists. What enforceable assurances does Trump's Air Force give us to prevent Trump from using this project to spy on and hunt Renee Good and Alex Preddy's families as domestic terrorists? What about spy and hunt the other people of Minnesota, the people of Los Angeles, the people of Chicago, the people of Maine, the people of Charlotte, the people of New Orleans, the people of Memphis, the people of Portland, the people of Washington, D.C., and the people of Maui? So what is the environmental pollution? AMOS will be polluting Maui far more with this project. You will be desecrating a culturally sacred place. You will be polluting our sky by supporting these satellites and making more space junk. Large numbers of satellites can create bright streaks in telescope images, making it harder to study distant galaxies and detect potentially dangerous asteroids. Your lasers will be messing with Maui's endangered birds much more. Launching satellites, which this project enables, emit huge quantities of greenhouse gases. Nobody would be launching this number of satellites without this infrastructure provided by the Air Force.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a number 33? Do we have 33 or 34? 35? Okay, number one, oh, wait. Okay, and then, Auntie, you were number one, you can go again. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna come, so I just wrote this big note. But I wanted to say that you guys are always wanting more. You need this for that, and that for this, and so on and so forth. Red Hill was a disaster, and the mess on Haleakalā. Who is taking the blame for this? Sorry. I was born and raised here, so this matter is really important to me, my children, and the U.S. military. You guys have all the money to go around making messes. You acquired Hawaii illegally. I will ask you this. When will you start paying back? Remember, this is still the Hawaiian Kingdom, which you continue to use and abuse. Hawaii and its people deserve more from you. They're still here. It's still going on. And you know this. Why is the wait list not, I don't see you guys going to DHHL and clearing the wait list. Every Hawaiian should have Medicare, I'm sorry, I'm shaking. This is just passionate to me. And I have a song, so I'd like to sing. Remember who you serve. violence, war, and oil, or children of the earth. Restoration, for restoration, for humanity is at hand. Use your seat in power to protect our health and land. This place is really important to us, as you can tell. Everyone's protesting. A lot of things that happened here over the time that you guys have occupied this place, you know.
Can you wrap up? Your time
Yeah,
is up.
yeah. So I just wanted to finish up by saying that I oppose the telescopes on Haleakalā.
Mahalo. Number 34. $35.
I did get another number. So I'm Lisa Galloway, finishing up my testimony. In response to the draft EIS, the existing water supply is via an underground water tank that is frequently replenished by water tanker trucks. This water is also used for the fire suppression systems in each existing buildings. There is insufficient capacity to add additional sprinklers in the new facility and telescope domes. Your assessment of the impact to endangered species, such as the dark rump petrel, is blatantly wrong. The petrels already have burrows under the roads that connects the Maui Space Surveillance Complex to the location of the new telescopes. The birds frequently return to the same burrow year after year. Those burrows will be destroyed once trenching between the two sites begin to bury telecommunication cables, power, chiller supply and returns, and fire suppression water. Your assessment of runoff water was glossed over. Creating a catchment and infiltration basin is impossible without the removal of tons of silt from the existing infiltration basin. Listen to your stakeholders about putting the research and development telescopes on the continental U.S. You have alternative sites to put your R&D telescopes on. You have a sister site at the Air Force Research Laboratories Starfire Optical Range at Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico. This is exactly where the R&D should be done to reduce your personnel and equipment on Maui. Since you are now Space Force, put it on your home base at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado. The Air Force wants it so badly, put it at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, where you can continue to brainwash young Kanaka officers to not listen to their na'au, not listen to their ancestors who fought for Hawaiian sovereignty, not listen to their kupuna or their ohana. Build it anywhere but on our mauna. There is only one alternative acceptable, and that is the no action alternative. Mahalo.
Thank you. We have number 36.
I'm calling some reinforcement. For those of you who know it, please calling yours too. And there's no count for my 3 minutes. Na'o makua mai kala hikia kala kau mai kaho kuia kahala vai. Na o ma kua ia kahina a kua ia kahina alo. Ia ka akau I kalani. O kiha I kalani, o we I kalani, nulu I kalani, ka holo I kalani. E ia na pula pula a o ko na po e Hawaii. He malama o ko ia ma ko. E ulu I kalani, e ulu I kahonua, e ulu I kapai aina o Hawaii. E ho mai ka ike, e ho mai ka ikaika, e ho mai kia ka mai, e ho mai ka mau popopono, e ho mai ka ike pāpālua, e ho mai ka mana. So for you guys who don't know, what we just did was fill this whole room with our kupuna. Every single seat is occupied right now. Every standing room is occupied right now. They're even standing behind you guys right now. So with that said, aloha kākou, o wau kalena shim, no lahaina mai au, e mahi ai au no kuohana ai na kuleana maka ahupa au hono ko hao, a he kia I au no ke ia wahi o ko Hawaii pai aina. I obviously oppose any additional anything that you guys have to bring to this place. You want a hupua living system, like Brother Wen mentioned, what happened up Mauka affects what happens Makai. You want a hupua living system. I don't know, before, what had Makai had one Mauka version. Nowadays, hardly get. Just like our own people, hardly gets the day you guys came here. I do restoration work too for Aina in the Ahupa Waikuli. So putting back native la'au. And the sugar plantation, oh, big mess all over. Layers and layers of plastic and rubbish left behind for us to clean up. You guys cannot handle the kuleana of cleaning up your own mess, not even bother going in the first place. And between military and the plantation, there's no difference with you guys. You come, you desecrate, and you just leave them. So for leave on one good note, I invite you guys to come and see the restoration work we're doing and see the mess that is left behind. Come. Sundays, Wednesdays, we open for volunteers. 8 to whenever we pau. We never pau. And we never pau, bruh. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
37.
So normally I would say aloha, but I don't have no aloha for you guys. 150 years of aloha. You guys keep taking. Take. You're saying no from 150 years ago. My name is Richard Ho. I'm here on behalf of my kupuna, my tutu who's from Kaupo, Kipahulu area, and the rest of my kupuna. Also my mo'opuna, my grandchildren, who gets to inherit whatever this place is gonna look like 30, 40, 50 years from now. And I think I'm frustrated because we was here at one meeting, yeah? Talking about the same thing. And at that time, you guys gave us one choice. Oh, you guys like 4 telescopes, 5, 6, or 7? And everybody that came up here and spoke wanted 0. So to come back to the next meeting and hear that you guys already moving forward with 7 telescopes is heaven. 150 years ago, 150 years of aloha, where has it gotten us? Where has it gotten us? You guys don't listen? You guys deaf? You guys dumb? You guys retarded? Everybody in the meeting, the last meeting said no, 0. 0 telescopes. And you guys get the nerve to come back at the next meeting and say, oh, we're gonna build 7. How you guys feel about it? That tells people that no sense talk already. Had like 100 people over here when testified at the last meeting. And you telling everybody that you guys care so much, why are you guys even having these damn meetings if you guys not gonna listen? Yeah, I know you guys not making a decision, but whoever making these decisions is poor already. Yeah? You guys like play Star Wars. You guys been playing Army on the other islands. We get unexpired ordinance on Kaho'olawe. We get unexpired ordinance on mostly all other major islands. You guys never clean them up yet. You guys spend years and years cleaning them up, and we still cannot go Kaho'olawe. You gotta walk along a little tiny trail because get unexpired ordinance in the aina, in the kai, in the water. So we don't need no telescopes. We don't need no Star Wars. It's funny that you guys been polluting this earth so much, and you guys are already polluting the space with all these satellites that you guys can't even keep track of. They're gonna bang into each other. Demilitarize Hawaii, yeah? Every time you guys build one base, every time you guys play Star Wars, you guys put one target on our back, yeah? The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor because your entire Pacific Northwest Fleet was inside Pearl Harbor. They never bombed Hawaii. They don't have a problem with Hawaii. They have a problem with the U.S. federal government, and you guys manifest destiny, yeah? Gotta be the best, gotta conquer the world. So just to close, no telescopes, 0. And you guys, before you guys waste money, don't make us meet you on the mountain. 0 telescopes.
38.
Anai me ke aloha kako o wau no ki ana I lani ku'ule perera ke ave kane no hilo Hawaii mai au. I'm really grateful to be here with all of our po'e aloha aina. Good to see some of you folks again. I'm here to provide testimony regarding the no action alternative related to this project. I think a lot of us don't know, maybe a lot of us here don't know, but from what I understand, the location of this proposed project is in conservation land. And in order to be able to build something in conservation land, the project needs to meet 8 criteria, one of which reads, the proposed land use will not be materially detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare. And so anything that's built in CDUP, in conservation district lands, including this Wahi, needs to meet that criteria. I want to call attention to Senate Concurrent Resolution 103, 2019, which reads, whereas the Office of Hawaiian Affairs further observes that in Western cultures, illness is conceived as a pathological imbalance in the body, whereas Native Hawaiians view ma'i or illness as a disruption in lokahi, the unity between Kanaka, Aina, and Akua, that is the people, land, and our natural elements. In Hawaii today, Hawaii people are the highest. We are the highest incarcerated. We are the highest heart disease, highest cholesterol, highest diabetes, highest BMI, and our health and well-being is directly impacted by the occupation of our land and the occupation of our mind. And there are pages and pages and pages of contested case hearing information that expresses the exact way that these projects propose, including the AMOS, if I miss AMOS, the AMOS STAR program, including this, is directly detrimental to our well-being. There's a Senate concurrent resolution. There's research done by Dr. Kiave Aimoku Kaholokula to describe the ways that our health is directly impacted by this. And I know that the people of the Air Force, I know that there's an interest to protect, there's an interest to serve, there's an interest to maintain and to survive, to promote this ability to survive. And I sit here just to wrap up to say that I encourage you to listen to the voices of the people that express to you that our health is directly impacted by this. Listen to the no's, because we'll say it again and again. My tutu is in the hospital. That's why I can be here today. We hopefully leave tomorrow. She has some health issues, but I'm grateful to be here with my po'e aloha aina to fight for the well-being of our people. Thank you so much. Aloha.
Mahalo. Okay, do we have a 39? Okay, we have you and then one more, and then we're gonna have to close.
Can somebody raise this?
Yeah, just pull it out.
Aloha, my name is Kania Ali'i Williams. I'm a lineal descendant of the Hamakualoa district. From on one side of my ohana, on one side of the Moku, on the other side of my ohana to the other side of the Moku. I'm also a current law student at UH Manoa, so some things I want to talk about is process and procedure. I have been involved in the consultation process concerning Kaula Island and the bombing by the US Navy. And so I'm going to reflect on that process and what's supposed to be happening with this process. In that process, we were consulted not through this kind of forum, but through individual meetings with, by the US Navy, individually meeting with various Native Hawaiian organizations, including groups, just regular groups of Native Hawaiian, Kanaka, whatever the organization may be, as well as individual ohana. And so part of the reason is because there's confidentiality matters pertaining to what we share regarding our sacred sites, our iwi kupuna, our traditional customary practices. And for those reasons, there's certain laws that you folks are supposed to be following for the process and procedure, including the National Historic Preservation Act, Title 54, USC, Section 307-103, as well as Title 36 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 800.11c. Those are just a few of them. Through that consultation process, that's before Ka'ula was registered as a traditional cultural property. And that was the process, is that we were individually consulted. You cannot come to this kind of forum, think that you're gonna ask, listen to some testimony and check off the box. That's not how it works. You have to consult individually every single ohana. In their own time, you guys have to figure out how you're gonna organize that. And yes, there's gonna be delays, but that's on you folks because you wanna push this project forward, right? I'm just gonna quote one of the statements by the U.S. Space Force Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Thornton, 15th Space Surveillance Squadron Commander, in a news release. In context with what I just said, quote, restoring the land in a way that is culturally informed has been and continues to be our top priority to ensure we do it right. So the process and procedure has to be done correctly. This is not the process and procedure, it's incorrect. So it's not in compliance with the federal laws. And that's all I want to say, so mahalo.
Mahalo. Okay, we have time for one last person. Do we have number 39? Okay, 40. 39 is not here, right? Okay, 40. And then we're going to be finished after you.
Aloha everyone, aloha Haleakalā. I stand before this council, military legislation, opposing all prospects of projects on our sacred mountain temple. This place is not only intricate to our spiritual well-being, our connected to Aina, but they're also going to be contaminating our most precious aquifer here on, of course, the biggest mountain on this island. Got a couple notes. So adding 7 contaminating telescopes on this biggest aquifer, we need this resource. We're already trying to find other water elsewhere. If we can't sustain life on it, why are we looking elsewhere with people destroying our Aina and people coming from outside telling us what's right for us? When we've had it locked down before, water flowing freely, fresh water for everyone, the multitudes, filling multitudes of ships in the past. We know a lot. Might not have degrees or pieces of paper, but we're tapped in. Are you guys gonna look into your hearts? Are you guys gonna look into your pockets? Mahalo.
Can you say your name for the
Kia
record?
malu akini.
Mahalo.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your testimony. This meeting is adjourned.